Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to take a look at the Object 84, which is the brand new tier 9 light tank, simply because, well, a lot of you are gonna try to grind for the mighty reward, the legendary T100 light, but also and most importantly because I feel like this tank truly deserves its own review. First, what is this tank exactly about? It's mentioned, at least in the game files, as a light tank, a Russian tier 9 light tank. But in fact, when you take a look at the mobility and especially your overall speed, it feels more like a medium. Not because your top speed is fitting the medium criteria, because you have 65, which is way above, simply because your average speed is 40 and truly you are gonna stick to 40, which means that with this tank, do not expect the same mobility as the one you could have on the T100 light or even a Dracula or anything like that, because, well, you feel sluggish. For the other parts of the tank, and especially the gun, you are well suited, because this gun is just a really cool one. 2.7k DPM at tier 9 is really nice, especially for a light tank, and 6.7 seconds of reload. And here, hopefully for you, you avoided the tragic fate of the T100 light that features a really poor penetration with its gold shells. Here, it's not the case, which means that when you're equipping it, you can use gun rammer. Now, you still have the big downside, which is the gun depression, only 5, but trust me, as this tank is extremely close to the ground, it shouldn't be too problematic for you. Now, one last thing that is really good, and that I forgot to mention on my T10 review, the T100 light, it's the armor profile, because if you are lucky enough, people will shoot here or here, which will result in nearly an automatic bounce. For the rest, as you have those little angles here where you can expect some bounces, but for the rest, you should get penetrated quite easily. On top of that, the upper plate of the tank is so angled that it's impossible to penetrate, which can be a good use if you use it right to bounce shells from whatever you want. Of course, you need to use your 5 degrees of gun depression, but if you do, well, it becomes quite easy, even easier to penetrate your turrets. But as you have a slow profile, good luck for the enemies to penetrate you or to even be able to hit you. As I played multiple games with this tank, I'm gonna show you all the playstyles that I managed to gather. The first one is trolling the tank destroyers. As you can see, all the tank destroyers in front of me are camping, and well, I have a huge advantage. I have a truly small profile, which means that I can shoot them, but they can't. And if you use that correctly, you can have a lot of fun. Just take a look at that poor Evie. He doesn't have the gun depression. I'm down the hill, and well, even if he's hoping for his best shot, it's not gonna happen. Now the only thing we have to do is dealing with the tortoise, and you already understood it's a piece of cake. I mean, the tortoise, all I gotta do is circling it, which is the second playstyle you can adopt with the tank. I'm circling the tortoise, he stuck himself. I don't remember exactly what word it is, but you guessed the spirit. We get the tortoise, we sneaked one shot, we circle the guy, and now there is nothing he can do, because after all, even if we don't have the best mobility out of the light tanks, we still are a light tank. The second playstyle you can use with this tank, or the third if we count the circling I just mentioned, is messing around with the enemies. What I mean by that is that when everyone is spotted, like it's the case in my game right there, you see that I don't necessarily have a lot of competition. Of course, there is the TVP VTU and the T95 that are turning on me, but beside them, I'm completely free. And well, when you have these kind of things, you can try to rush around the lines, having some fun, but obviously it requires from you to know what you're doing. Because, well, if you do that not knowing, you're probably gonna get destroyed. But here I'm just messing around, circling the T95 while shooting at the TVP VTU at the same time. I know that I have some time for me to be able to sneak my shells, and well, by messing around I still managed to do my game, and it makes the game a little bit more hilarious, because obviously it's not the traditional playstyle, and it's something that just will bring you joy. So now, for the pleasure, we're gonna see the destroying of the T95. We sneak one, we are gonna circle around. As you can see, they already lost because they played badly, and now bang, see ya T95, thanks for coming. Now let's take a look at a full video, a full replay. Here I'm playing in tier 10, which is in my opinion the most interesting part of the tank, because when you play tier 10 you truly see how you're supposed to play, because you're at your weakest. So what we do right now is trying to take an advanced position. As you can see, because the T100 light kind of blocked me, I arrived after the STB. But even if he did not block me, I feel like the STB would have been here before, because as I told you, you kind of feel sluggish. But it's not a problem. After all, we have a trollish sluggish armor profile, especially on the turret, and we are going to try to use it. We sneak as much shells as possible on that T100 light because we want to destroy it. I mean, it's already one tank out, and as I have a low profile, as I'm trying to snipe my shells against the T100 light, the FV can't sneak any shots. There we go, we killed the guy, but we took a hash shell in the process. Now I know, target locked, that FV 4202 is becoming a problem. Unfortunately, I can't allow myself to go frontally against him. Even if I have a bouncy turret, have more chances of getting penetrated, and with hash shells it's gonna hurt. So what we do right now is we wait in the back, patiently waiting for our turn to sneak our shells. And here it's just going to be a matter of we wait the FV4202 shells, or we wait for him to shoot. When he shot, I know that he's reloading, so I'm poking around the corner and sneaking my shells. And well, this is called kind of a peekaboo. Peekaboo where you wait for your enemies to reload, and it worked perfectly. As you can see, we sneak one on the FV, and another one on the M103, but we failed the last one because, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like our shell collapsed with the K91 model. Not a problem. Let's wait. Yeah, I told him, get out K91 because you're bothering me. He was blocking me all the way since the beginning and I was a little bit upset. But that's not a problem. They sneak shots and we do as well. It's only a matter of good trade with this tank when you're playing in this kind of situations. As you can see, I'm not trying to expose myself. I'm not trying to push forward. I'm not trying to circle or anything like that, because with this tank, you can allow yourself to play by brawling. And usually, as I'm an aggressive player, I like to stay at the middle of the battle where the hit goes. And even if sometimes it doesn't work here, it worked perfectly. Now we gotta deal with the M5 that really wants to shoot me and me only. That's why I'm using the wreck of whatever that tank was to hide. And now we only have to sneak 1 or 2 shells on the T57 heavy before saying goodbye to this game and hello to the garage. Come on, can we get the kill? Yes, we can. See ya, T57, thanks for coming. And now we head back to the garage. As you can see, I'm not using it with the mobility. Unlike a T100 light where you can run around, I don't feel like this tank is fast enough to be able to do that. This is why I feel like it's sluggish. And based on that, I'm inclined to play it more like a medium rather than a light tank. Maybe it works as a light tank, I'm not saying that it's not. But personally, it doesn't fit my playstyle, and as it's my channel, unfortunately for you, I'm gonna grant you my vision of the game and how you're supposed to play it on the battlefield. So this is pretty much what I do with the object. Maybe one last thing to finish off that review. If you want to take a look at my equipments, just in case you want to use the exact same, you can switch off the gun rammer to the calibrated shells if you want, even if I don't feel like it's useful, because 297 millimeters of penetration is still not enough to go through most heaviest parts on tier 10 tanks. But hey, you do whatever you want. Tell me also in the comments, do you like it? Do you feel like it's a good tank? Do you feel like Wargaming really balanced the line? Because personally, I feel like it's extremely balanced. Those tanks are not broken, and it's for the best, and I'm kind of glad to see that Wargaming is improving the game by releasing not over broken tanks. But let's wait to see what they do with the premiums. See ya.